The South Bronx, the borough that gave birth to hip-hop.
There's a militarized police department that is ready to attack the people. Young people have taken the streets, they've shut down the highway.
There's an understanding that when the planet wins, the people win too.
Don't stop. You don't stop. If you don't stop. Amor, justicia, hip hop, revoluciones. Stop!
The British people have voted to leave the European Union, and their will must be respected.
Peace, this is G1 reporting for Enya Don't Stop Telesud English. We are outside of the British consulate here in Chicago, Illinois, a week after Britain's referendum on leaving the European Union won by 52% of the vote.
Come on, yeah. Waiting on the storm, cause when it rains it pours. Wonder what'll happen today. Waiting on the storm, cause when it rains it pours. Wonder what'll happen today. Weather, war, or fed up with being poor. We gon' have to turn the corner, open up that door. Said it's weather, war, or fed up with being poor. We gon' have to turn the corner, open up that.
Referendums are polarizing events, often being put in a yes or no, either or, black or white framework. But in the case with Brexit, as it's now being called, gray areas are abundant. Even US presidential candidate Donald Trump attempted to weigh in on the issue recently while in Scotland, mistakenly saying that the Scots had voted to leave.
Blame the 1%, cause they putting profit first. Worst comes to worst, we gon' ride out the storm. And if you're doubting we at war, wait to see what's in store. For the future you should prepare, for the present get it, cause here's where we at. That's a fact, and our survival's under attack. Not a weatherman, but I know which way the wind blow. Not Bob Dylan, but my guitar is my pistol. Simple mathematics, go on and take a stab at it. If you're hungry and you've had it, the results could be tragic.
People want to take their country back. They want to have independence in a sense. And you see it with Europe, all over Europe. You're going to have more than just, in my opinion, more than just what happened last night. You're going to have many other cases where they want to take their borders back. They want to take their monetary back. They want to take a lot of things back. They want to be able to have a country again.
As the world attempts to make sense of the implications of Brexit, we thought we'd offer a little insight.
Said it's weather, war, fed up with being poor. We gon' have to turn the corner, open up that door.
Imagine living free without the stress of the bills, without kids getting killed, cause the bill that they had was to the wrong side of from the wrong side of the tracks, where people fight back when we under attack.
How you doing, sir? This the British consulate building? I'm looking to speak to somebody. I'm from the press, looking to speak to somebody, a representative, to be able to comment on the Brexit. I actually went online and I couldn't find anything to do there.
You have to go online and make an appointment. That's the information.
All right, cool.
Go online, make an appointment with them and come back.
All right, cool. Thank you, brother. As Rebel Diaz, our connection to Britain and the UK is both personal and political. My brother Rostars was born in England, a result of our parents being exiled from Chile in a CIA-supported military coup that had them land in Europe as migrants, as refugees. 25 years after Rostars left, we returned to the United Kingdom while we were on tour in Europe. Rostars got a harsh glimpse of reality for what it is to be migrants or immigrants in the European Union. As we approached the immigration and customs officials, and he thought he was going to be welcomed with open arms because of his European Union passport, he was stopped by customs and enforcement officials asking him why was he there, and the fact that he didn't look British, he didn't talk British. Needless to say, we realized the amount of anti-immigrant sentiment both in England as well as the European Union.
The EU itself is already at greater risk of terrorism, and ultimately, of course, we're at greater risk of terrorism because anybody once in the EU can get to Calais, and we know how porous our borders are already for illegal immigration. And in a few years' time, these people will have EU passports and be free to move. This is not just an argument about the UK. This is an argument today about the whole of the European Union.
I think people really see a big parallel. A lot of people are talking about that, and not only the United States, but other countries.
But there is a real and genuine threat. When ISIS say they want to flood our continent with 500,000 Islamic extremists, they mean it. And there is nothing in this document that will stop those people from coming. Indeed, I fear we face a direct threat to our civilization if we allow large numbers of people from that war-torn region into Europe.
We cannot continue to allow thousands upon thousands of people to pour into our country, many of whom have the same thought process as this savage killer. Many of the principles of radical Islam are incompatible with Western values and institutions.
The votes in Britain's referendum were fueled by both left and right-wing tendencies. For some, the decision to leave the European Union was a rejection of Brussels, Belgium, was a rejection of NATO, was a rejection of US and British imperial interests in Europe. For others, their vote was fueled by anti-immigrant and fascist tendencies that have been sweeping Europe in the last few years. Immigrants are coming into Britain and other parts of the EU largely as a result of imperialist policies by NATO, led by Britain and the US. The wars in Libya, etc. are an example. For years, the European Union, with its headquarters in Brussels, Belgium, has been imposing austerity measures on European countries, including Greece, Italy, and others. Often, the region's economic problems have been blamed on immigrants, using them as scapegoats for the issues at hand. Another result is other countries, including Denmark, Norway, discussing holding referendums themselves on the question of whether to stay or leave the European Union.
We are a European country and we will stay a European country. And if that means we have to have an independence referendum to protect Scotland's face, then so be it.
It's important to remember that recently, when Obama threatened Iran with crossing the red line and threatened to bomb Syria,
we have been very clear to the Assad regime, but also to other players on the ground, that a red line for us is we start seeing a whole bunch of chemical weapons moving around or being utilized.
France and Germany objected, siding with Russian diplomats in stopping the US's bombing. What will come of Brexit remains to be seen. But what we can say is this is an end to the special transatlantic relationship between the US and the European Union, with traditional ally Britain no longer serving as America's Trojan horse in the region. One of the ultimate results of Brexit will be increased Eurasian integration, led by Russia and China's cooperation. In response to the US's growing military presence in the South China Sea, which essentially is encircling China and their trade routes, this cooperation between Russia and China has led to increased mutual investments, including trade deals, gas and oil pipelines, high-speed rail connections, and other trade and infrastructure networks. Whatever the future may hold as a result of this Brexit vote, it is clear the game has changed. The question is, will Europe be rebuilt by this neoliberal, fascist, anti-immigrant tilt, or shall we see the creation of a new political entity or new coalitions, ultimately leading to conflict? Reporting from outside the British consulate here in Chicago, Illinois, this is G1 for And You Don't Stop.